Hello and welcome back to one of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, where I've had a really crap 2 hours, but I gotta record this video, so let's just do this and get it over with. Okay. Voices. It looks as though the police are still here carrying on with the investigation. Perfect, so let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip I escaped for him. Hello. Here, take the card so we can investigate and prove how stupid all of you are. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? I'm sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Yeah, busy eating fish and chips. I'm much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me? For her ladyship? Her ladyship? Give that here at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Ah, don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's an appearance fee, that's what it is. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right. For the adventures of Airlock Sholmes, her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for each of me, every time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Maybe not the best idea to call them exploits. Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still, yeah, well, you make it really easy. I am sorry, Inspector, but that must be very difficult for you. Yeah, it must be difficult to be the butt of jokes when you literally deserve all of it. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I'm sure that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? I don't know. How many times you dropped in your head as a kid? Well, you wouldn't mind, Inspector. We'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ah, the little knife-wielding mustache Japanese fellow. He lives in a right old hole of a hovel. It's just over there. Look. Oh, so it's his bike that got busted? That's tough. On the first floor of that house in the corner where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up. That is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Garadeb. Right, well, if you see her again, you make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. She's like 10 years old. I think she'll be fine. Well, at least he told us what he wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then shall we go and see? Definitely. Alright, we can go to the defendant's lodging. A new location has been added. Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Here we go. Oh my, this place is fancy. Oh, Jesus Christ almighty.
May I help you?
Ah, yes. Will this be the residence of Mr. John Garadeb?
Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling?
My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here? We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client.
One moment, please.
Did you see that, Mr. Sato? That was a real-life English maid. I know. As I understand it, anyone standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. This day just keeps getting better. Yeah, does it now? It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment.
Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garrett will see you now. This way.
Great, he looks like a pretentious asshole. I can't wait to talk to him. No, don't move. Please. I guess I have to look at him to talk to him.
Good day to you. John Garrett at your service.
Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer.
Do excuse me not getting up. I'm too lazy, helplessly. I have made nothing of my life. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in Battle of my Wand, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings.
So he's a retired soldier.
It's a hell of a job getting up and down stairs now, I can tell you. Don't get up much, as you can imagine.
Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, do you think so? Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal.
No, it was nothing. The medal's just a folderol, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I begrudgingly displayed it on the wall.
Crooked.
Why don't you just fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly.
Congratulations, you did. Oh, great. Wow.
Dash it out, woman. Be careful. Oh, dearie me, I do beg your pardon, sir. You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands. I should be more careful, sir.
How does that happen?
How do you... Okay. So anyway, there you have it, living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about that chap lodging downstairs, is that right?
Yes, we'd be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us.
Only too pleased, naturally. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were.
Oh, is it?
Even had some famous detective poking around, you know. This old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Airlock Sholmes.
Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Really? That arrogant asshole didn't go out of his way to make sure you knew exactly what his name was?
Oh, but you have a copy of Ren's magazine here, so...
No, well... Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak.
So he's in the Soseki-san's room.
Oh, joy. I guess now it's time to have a reunion with good old Airlock Sholmes. Unlike all this fuss, it's jolly unsettling.
About Mr. Natsume, then.
Ah, yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week.
Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently, then.
I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor room... Great. How are you that bad at pouring tea out of a cup, or out of a teapot into a cup? If you want to, I don't, but I'm gonna hear it anyway. I thought he was a shady sort for the moment I set eyes on him.
Oh, why?
He seemed to have a most nervous disposition. I was shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man has trouble. Sooner or later he's going to do something untoward.
Let me guess, you both thought that because he came from Japan and because everybody in this game is a terrible, disgusting human being who's blatantly racist. You all thought that. Let me guess. I guarantee you that both these people have that perspective because they're terrible human garbage.
And I'm really wrong about anything.
Oh, really? Well, let's see how long that takes for that statement to be proven wrong. They won't be calling this man as a witness, that's for sure.
Yeah, well. She wouldn't be or she wasn't going to be a witness.
Was there anything else that struck you suspicious about the man at all?
Yes, oh yes, indeed there was.
And she's dying to tell us.
I guarantee you these two are going to say that, or they've already kind of implied it, but I guarantee you at some point they're going to get more explicit and they're going to say something along the lines of, he's from Japan, therefore he's not trustworthy because they're just terrible racist assholes.
Did you notice anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume?
Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard.
So you've told me already.
Well, take the man's room, absolutely stuffed full of books it is, more than anyone can ever read.
Oh no, he reads books? Wow, what a terrible crime.
He never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul.
Wow, he prefers spending time by himself? Oh no, what a terrible human being. Good God. He just trots off to... Oh, wait a minute, even more. He spends time by himself when he's on vacation going abroad in a land where he doesn't know anybody? Oh no, what a terrible thing, you absolute chucklehead moron.
And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house gone to bed too.
Oh no, he likes to stay up late? What a creepy shithead. God, this maid is just the worst. Oh, I see.
The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed around 9 each night.
But the gentleman on the ground, okay, up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed too. Never known return early in 2 in the morning. It's 1:55 a.m. right now. And I'm still, Jesus Christ. She's clever something, I wonder.
What, pray?
How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine?
Oh.
I understood that neither of the lodgers live in this floor of the house, is that correct?
That's right, yes, they're both below us on the first floor at street level.
Then, how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example, even the times they go to bed. That liquid doesn't pour that fast, but you really suck at this. That's the 3rd time this has happened. Something doesn't add up here. It seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time?
The window?
Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Is there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garadeb household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir, it would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road.
Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated.
Well.
Yes, was it something then?
Well, it's nothing particularly significant.
Jesus Christ. Every time he gets to say something, she always just dunks it on him.
Can't wait to find out what secret she's hiding.
If I may, Mr. Naruhalo. Oh, yes. I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour, nothing at all. Oh, really, Mr. Gavadeb? What were you talking for? It sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, oh, for God's sake, someone take the damn teapot out of her hand so she can actually speak properly. Begging your pardon, sir, nothing happened. Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan? That's right, Mr. Gavadeb. What's the matter with these two?
She's pouring it on him to make him forget about what happened.
Sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident, but what? I wish I knew.
I'm sure we'll find it eventually.
Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on?
Why, certainly, just below us on the first floor.
And Mr. Shome's investigating there as we speak?
Yes, telling Nats his name had asked him to look into this matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume's engaged Mr. Shomes' service? That's a blatant lie.
Would it be, well, it's Airlock Shomes, what do you expect?
Would it be alright if we had also had a look around in Mr. Natsume's room, I mean?
Don't see why not, it's just on one flight of stairs.
Who knows if we'll find anything that can help us with the case, we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Shomes again.
Oh, joy, my favorite pastime. Okay, well, guess that's all we can do in this room, so let's go ahead and head on out to, if you'll go away, Mr. Natsume's room.
What? Just look at this place, and smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountain of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither.
I guess you've never been to a library then.
It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think. Yes, once upon a time. For some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Shomes anywhere, have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Gavadeb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating.
So I guess it's a quest to find the detective. Well, last time he was hiding in the desk. Is he hiding in the desk this time too?
The desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountain of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat, but surrounded on all sides by these towering old tombs. Surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it, and the date of purchase 2 days ago, 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books.
Okay, turns out he was not hiding in the desk. Is there anything to the right side of the... Hello?
Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. A pile of human rotting flesh. Ah, there he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope you won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Shomes.
Ah, you two, good day. Now, let me see, where was it that we met?
Oh, Mr. Shomes, we were together on the SS Buria.
Yes, of course, the Buria. And let me see, what happened on that voyage? You were an idiot, of course.
It was Kazuma Asogi. He probably didn't die. But, you know.
Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it?
Oh, well, you seem to remember something of it at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Airlock Shomes. Yeah, what an honor to be a passing memory in this man's life.
Oh, no, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on the most superior powers of recollection.
Yeah, you pride yourself on a lot of things that don't exist.
Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Susato. I lose the first round.
You've lost the first 20 rounds. But, you know, keep telling yourself whatever you want so you can have a heightened sense of self-importance.
In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker's Street suite that Baker Street suite that day we arrived in London, but some Scotland Yard has ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes.
So they apprehended Soseki-san in that short amount of time?
I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvement a little.
A little?
It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yeah, and how many of those useless facts would have ended up single-handedly turning around the logic of every single case you've ever come across? It's my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled A Study in Scarlet. Is that a...
So, I'll be honest, I've kind of been running on autopilot for the past 15 minutes because, as I said at the beginning, the last 2 hours of my life have been nothing but pure unbridled torture, and I'm not in a good mood right now. But I have to, let me just show you. It's 2:03 AM right now. I have to get this video out so I can get it out on time. So I'm just kind of running on autopilot, trying to blitz this investigation so then I can go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, and actually regain some enthusiasm for the trial. But this actually ripped me out of autopilot mode because I know that the company that's been working on translating the, doing the fan translation for the Great Ace Attorney games is Scarlet Study. And I find it hard to believe that that's a coincidence. I find it extremely hard to believe that that's a coincidence, unless that's an actual Sherlock Holmes story, which it might be. I don't know. I've never read a Sherlock Holmes story in my life, nor do I plan to. But I find it exceedingly coincidental that they specifically chose A Study in Scarlet when the company that was working on the fan translations was called Scarlet Study. Anyway, back to autopilot mode. Is there any to quote yourself?
I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pens them beautifully.
He means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important information.
Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should only be too pleased. I should be only too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss this murky case.
Alright, well, then let's talk about it. From top to bottom. We know this to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. It seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes. For the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road.
Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines.
Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him with so little?
I'm sorry, Mr. Sato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean.
What? I can't believe he was looking Sato-san squarely in the eye when feigning ignorance.
I assure you I am not merely feigning ignorance. It will appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension.
Oh? How?
I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of the crime, but
That doesn't make sense.
the good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request to me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of the man seen fleeing the crime scene.
Ah, a man seen fleeing.
There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there was a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question.
So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit then?
That I could not tell you, because I am an idiot, but it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I have returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books. I found myself quite lost in the whatever. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no.
Oh dear.
Where'd the cat go? Where'd the cat go? Next time his sprite disappears, not sprite, next time his character model disappears, look at the pillow on the ground. The cat's gone. Tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings?
Yes, Mr. Gavadev, a retired military man.
Yeah, see, look, it's gone. The cat was there earlier, it's gone now.
It was the first time I'd ever met a soldier from the Great British Institute and Services, and it was the first time I'd ever met a maid from the Great British Institution. Who's probably guilty of something. I didn't think it was that funny.
Oh, did he tell a joke? I didn't see. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid.
Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer.
And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standings of those dwelling therein.
Betoken their social standing, sorry?
Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family.
Goodness, how extraordinary.
As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of first importance.
I had no idea.
And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs, specifically in a retired army veteran, Mr. John Gavadeb.
Oh?
Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether I was opposed in the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain.
I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say.
This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later.
Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one.
Ah, but sooner or later, as I said.
I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea?
No window?
Well, I mean, I can clearly see there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks.
Ah, I see. The answer to that question is simple. Window tax.
Window tax? What is that? Surely, not a tax on windows.
Precisely that.
Oh, good God.
Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows.
You can't be serious.
While the rich open windows here, there, and everywhere. In an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with a large sum of tax money.
How awful and unjust.
Ah, indeed. Disease was rife as a result, so some 40 years ago or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example.
I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps.
It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price.
Because the room is so awful, I should think.
Apparently,
Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago.
Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe that low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation.
Oh?
Still,
See, I would stop to question how he was able to acquire this mountain of books in a week's time, or if he just brought them all with him, but I'm too tired to care. So we're just gonna keep going.
that is of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention.
Are you sure? I'm curious now.
Well, I believe I've told you all I can now.
Thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law?
You remember that, did you?
Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter, I wonder? To the argument of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. On what grounds?
Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday.
Really? Well, then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too.
The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients, to trust in their innocence?
Yes, trust.
Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he?
Why would he know? Ha 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 ha. My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Obviously he wouldn't.
Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you go back to investigate?
Yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But then I had a brain fart and stopped caring. But there's simply too many fascinating books here, I couldn't possibly ignore them. You're not like a man's life's at stake or anything. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room. And there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say.
Despite the fact that he could barely see in front of him, witnesses were able to see the crime clearly through the fog.
And one more thing.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes?
I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something.
Yeah, you said that already, as we already gathered. Mr. Gavadeb is... Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he?
Anyway, as present, that's really all I can say.
Mr. Naruhodo, as yet, our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence.
No, you're right.
Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Gavadeb's secret.
Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be relevant or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo.
Great. And the cat's back. I'm a busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room, and the cat's gone back to the pillow. Where was the cat hiding? I don't know. Alright, let's go call him out on his bullshit, or whatever. February 19th, Mr. Garadeb's room.
Ah, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard at work down there?
Hard to work is a bit of a stretch, but he was there.
Ah yes, rings a vague bell. All detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid.
And Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there.
Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Now then, why don't you tell me what, I shall be serving dinner shortly, sir. Huh? Ah, yes, of course. Frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave if you be so kind.
Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all of your assistance.
Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out.
According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Gavadeb is hiding something, and since no other avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Is that Holmes's character model that just appeared on the screen? Yep. And he's just staring out the window. Is the goal for you to be in an increasingly more ridiculous position every time I see you? What's he doing over there? He's showing us his ass. Showing off his ass to all of us.
Aha, we meet again. What did you think of my ass? I've been working on it for all of you.
Good gracious, when did you sneak in here?
Sherlock Holmes, sir, at your service.
Whatever were you doing over by the window?
I am given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here.
Well, keeping an eye to one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering.
Ah, and one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, me?
I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind.
I really wasn't. But he's not talking about, is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean?
There is a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes have seen even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo?
I think so.
There was just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions.
Yeah, because the last one went so well.
Mr. Gavadeb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it's all too clear to me. There are two conclusions that I've been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements.
I beg your pardon?
The first, even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care.
He's concealing the presence of a what now?
Eh? And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you.
What? Mr. Naruhodo, look! The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Shum's conclusions are both spot on. Yeah, there is not... I don't know if you think there's a bear in the room or whatever, but there is not some kind of bear or gorilla hiding in this room somewhere.
How could you possibly?
How could I possibly know? You mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir, for in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. You've yet to prove that. And I know only too well that the wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular.
I much preferred it when Iris did it, because she was actually competent. But I guess we're doing this again.
The great deduction, the game is afoot.
Music's still awesome.
It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls.
You can't seriously think.
Thus we are faced with the question, what form might the beast take? Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gavadeb, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast is...
Once again, your burgeoning intelligence. Yep, you did it. You cracked the case. You solved the mystery. The beast that's rampaging through the apartment is the tiny golden statue of a lion, the inanimate object. Great job. You done diddly did it.
Yes, though in army man, you appear unimposing at best. A fact that has fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts.
What is this piffle, I ask you?
In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you are a living, breathing specimen Whatever. Wait. Something's wrong with his face. Something's wrong with the right side of his face. It looked like it had a starfish attached to it. Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. Oh, it's gonna be her. Oh, okay, it's gonna be her. The wild beast. There's the thing that happens with this is that he's like the logic. Well, not the logic, but he accidentally has the structure, like the skeleton of what he's trying to say correct, but it's all the specific details that are just bungled into a mess. So the wild beast is the maid, right? Because the maid was clearly abusive in the sense that she was pouring hot tea or coffee all over him. She clearly has control over him in some capacity. There was a mark on his face that seemed to imply that he might have been abused physically at some point. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. Yet living with such a wild beast from whatever you had imagined. The chilling traces of the wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to, madam? I pray you do not consider me unshivers, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. What? Yes, you sought to dispose at Batty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to this. You seriously cannot believe that he had a lion rampaging through this apartment. You can't possibly think that. You can't possibly believe that. I believe I have made my point. You've made a point. I guess, if that's what you can call a point. A fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through the ring of fire. Yep. You're spot on, buddy. You hit it. You did it. You hit the nail on the head. Oh, Mr. Garadeb. It is plainly clear that you still have a deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, it is that in that blithe pose, the distresses this loss has caused you is veritably tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage.
Nonsense, man. I simply...
But what we must now ask ourselves is the true cause of this pain. And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is the pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. For hard loads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go.
Yes, well,
Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken.
oh, dearie me.
What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eyes settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. It looks like a burn mark. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. What?
Hey, how about we look at the candle stand with a candle missing? Because that looks like a burn mark on the floor. I can't wait to see how you try to tie the cake to this. I can't wait to see how you tie the cake to this. What, you thought I was trying to... What?
Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman that if they had no bread, let them eat cake? Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact.
Whatever do you mean?
Having tired of the taste of the cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey, the carpet. Sure, I need not dispel the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Worked into a frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked and ate the carpet.
You lower my expectations for humanity so exponentially, it's almost kind of impressive. I mean, wow. Yikers. Okay, give me to the part where I can prove how wrong you are.
Thus concludes Airlock Sholmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. For every puzzle has a solution, Luke. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garrideb. I'm afraid I didn't notice.
My deductions can be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times too.
Ow.
Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in again, but can I make an observation?
Why, certainly, Mr. Navahodo.
What is it again? Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of that size?
Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts.
Really, the only explanation is a lion came rampaging through the apartment. Seriously, that's the best you got. Okay. But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garrideb and his maid would have been hurt. Or, you know, eaten. 'Cause logic.
That's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon.
Do I even need to explain why what he just said makes no goddamn sense at all? You said he used a cannon. You didn't. This man doesn't think. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing, but I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea.
My dear Mr. Sato, it occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of the race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea.
It's a goddamn lion. It's not a human being. The lion doesn't know where it is. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage. That's all Mr. Sholmes' deductions needs. You can do it. Yeah, all you gotta do is just swap out. It's like I'll use the same example I did last time. Airlock Sholmes says the Earth is flat, and then Suzato says, okay, but all you gotta do is change out one word, and then his deduction's gonna be perfect. You can do it. I'm like, yes, change the word flat to round, and you have a correct statement. The Earth is round. That is a correct statement. That doesn't. You don't. Under Mr. Sato's logic, Airlock Sholmes the genius if he says the Earth is flat, because all I have to do is change the word flat to round, and I've created a genius statement. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. If we're doing it, it's going to. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. And at least that's what I want to believe.
Let us start again. From the beginning of Airlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular.
Okay. Well, as I recall, we actually don't have we don't really have any agency in this first part. We're just gonna have to skip ahead to until the game stops us dead on our tracks. So, I'm guessing we'll be here. Yeah, we'll be here because obviously it's not a lion. I really didn't see the lion thing coming. No one with a brain did. No, but if you observe Mr. Garrideb's reaction, it rather seems as though there's some beast did indeed run amok here in this room. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Garrideb's gaze. That will lead us to the true answer. Okay, there's a picture back here. Let's examine the frame this time so we know what we're dealing with here. What's this photograph? Appears to be from Mr. Garrideb's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does. Oh, is he married to the maid? No, how unfortunate. I wonder what happened. It's gonna be this, isn't it?
Take that!
At least I hope it is. Okay, I think that's correct. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride.
Precisely, Mr. Navahodo. No other explanation could possibly fit except the one you gave 5 seconds ago that you thought was correct, but okay. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrideb. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured,
we can still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain.
Oh, indeed. Surely any woman of such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast.
Honored might be stretching a point.
Too late. The fact remains that the beast which so clearly salvaged this room was your wife, Mr. Garrideb.
Yeah, you can see the marking a bit better in that shot right there. And this is when we're back on track. Yeah. All right. So what's up next? The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. I don't know that any of those words actually describe her. Well, I don't know about fragile or defenseless. Anyway, Mr. Jones is quite right. There's no sign of a Mrs. Garrett anywhere, but it seems there may be a clue to her whereabouts. A clue that the maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrett's wife could be. Does she have a wedding ring on? Because if she has a wedding ring on, then we're done. Unfortunately, the text box is kind of in my way, so I can't see. Do I have... Oh, wait, okay, now I can see. Never mind, now I can't see. It went away for a second. Can it go away again? Okay, now it's going away. Is that... Oh, it is a wedding ring. I was gonna ask if that's a... It looks like it's a ring, but I don't know if it's a wedding ring, but thankfully the game has told me that it's a wedding ring. Your wedding ring gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts.
Indeed it does. The flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Garrett's bride in this photographic print.
In other words, you are no ordinary household maid.
Oh. You are Mr. Garrett's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garrett herself.
Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmise, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally corkerback.
It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct?
It's not right, I tell you. I was 2nd Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ.
Yes, here in London one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though in my
You mean Mr. Garrett has his wife work as his maid?
Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garrett?
Okay. There's one down, the raging wife of Mr. Garrett. That is a sentence, alright. The aftermath. I guess it's not a sentence because it doesn't have a subject, or I mean, it has a subject but no predicate. Which is not really a sentence.
Now, Mr. Garrett.
Oh, yeah, we already read all this, so we'll skip ahead to the part where we prove how wrong you are. Which should be, yeah, right here, because it's not his arm, it's the fact that he has a giant mark on the right side of his face. So let's see if we can point that... Can you get out of the way, please, so I can see what I'm... Slapped cheek, yep.
Take that!
Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek.
And of course, the liver of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade. Was you, Madam Joan Garrett?
Well, yes.
You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir.
How that blazes. Did you work that out, man?
Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow.
That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. Just to keep your other side from view.
Well,
Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves, what caused her to fly into a rage?
Well, you say it was the bills, but... looks like it's not that. So what else is over here? That could have possibly been... there's a book open. There's a bookmark. What's the bookmark for? Oh? Oh, does someone have a lover? Did someone have an affair? I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh, no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Someone was unfaithful. Look next to the signature here. Lip marks, made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Sato-san. Oh dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then. Well, looks like we've, found the cause of the rage.
Take that!
Let me take the time to say that I have absolutely no sympathy for you if you cheat on someone for literally any reason. It is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary, passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note is Miss Mary is the fly in the ointment here? Yeah, I have absolutely no. If you cheat, like, there is no reason. I'm running on, like, very little energy right now, but I still have enough left in me to say that if you cheat on someone, I have no respect for you as a human being. I just don't. I'm sorry. There's no reason. There's none. There's absolutely. I don't. This just. If you have interest in someone else and you're losing interest in your current relationship, just break up with them and then go on and move on to someone else. There's no reason to hurt someone else just because you can't, just because you don't have the decency to break up with someone before you move on. And if you're not interested in someone else and you're just doing it to be duplicitous, then I have even less respect for you. Don't cheat on your significant other, for God's sake. You rant over.
You don't know her?
That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there.
It was just in there, you say?
That's right. That's what I've been saying. A likely story. Listen here, Joe, an old thing I explained at the time. I bought the book at that secondhand place, and that note must have already been in there.
So the previous owner of the book was using that note as a bookmark, you mean?
That's right. That's what I've been
I mean, if he's telling the truth, then I'm sorry this happened. But if he's not telling the truth, then yeah, he deserves every bit of what's coming to him.
For heaven's sake, look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you've forgotten, is John. A likely story. Are you questioning my name now?
And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with a most ferocious bite. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack.
Unimaginable?
Oh yeah, this is where we talk about, like,
You can even see the goddamn candle there. How are you this stupid? It's right there. The candle's right there. Okay.
Well, we know what this one is. It's the candle stand. Or candlestick, sorry.
Yes, to explain the dire state of the copper, we need only look at the candlestick.
Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth that I completely missed about 2 seconds ago.
Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the copper was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed, they are the scorch...
Oh, sorry, indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Yeah, so clearly that you completely missed it the first time.
Scorch marks?
It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation.
Mrs. Gerardov's mighty arm must have left an impression on not only her husband's face,
but on the entire room. The force of the strike caused the candle to fall from the holder.
and in seconds the copper was alight and the whole corner of the room in flames.
Yes, sir.
For the most ferocious beast in this world needs neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire.
And in this room, the ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok.
Eloquently put, my dear fellow.
As the sparks of metal discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire.
Nice of you to finally join us.
Mr. Shum, sir, I salute you.
Oh, what the hell? Someone gonna catch him? No? Okay. Oh, okay, someone caught him. Well, we did it. Another case solved. Let's see how this connects to the bigger mystery in about 3 episodes.
It's these dashed long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good secondhand bookshop just around the corner, but I'll buy all my old novels there.
And in the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material?
For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems.
Don't know about admonished. Demolished might be rather close to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt description.
Here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by a fire when a candle fell on the floor?
Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place was filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames.
You painted toy pictures, sir. One that would have been most entertaining.
That's sympathy for you.
Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. We've had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being.
Well, you did a real shit job of hiding it.
Over here, Mr. Garrett?
Well, if you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me.
And all my favorite old novels in that case. As soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke.
Gosh.
Then the wife started hurling things at me.
What a terrible sight it must have been.
There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire, incendiary books coming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is I lost my favorite, book called The Lion's Pride.
The Lion's Pride? Ah, yes. Your notorious love of big cats coming through again.
I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest.
To the point I really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast rampage. Mr. Sholmes' deductions have to be the... Oh, Jesus Christ, you people are blind as a damn bat. I can only be described as a great British wonder. Yes, that's what you call a wonder.
I tell you, it was a total carnage. Flames everywhere and they all sticking full fettle.
Out of interest, what time of day was that?
I'm not sure, I can't remember. 2 days ago now, let's see, around 5 o'clock, I think.
So your back was to the window.
So exactly the same time as a terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below.
Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole of Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment. I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing.
Oh, really? Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo.
I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garrett's situation now, but what does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances?
I can't help you there, I'm afraid.
What?
My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not.
I just knew you were going to say that.
Ha 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 ha, what a laughing matter this is. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories. Those relevant to the case, and those not.
That makes no sense to me.
Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now.
Sorry?
Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over.
Oh no, is it that time already? If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. So that's it, no more time to think.
Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now? I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrett.
Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Suki-san was waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer.
Which will obviously be yes.
Alright, let's gonna move on. And tell him all about the bundle of nothing that we... Did I not pick the prison? I'm pretty damn sure I picked the prison. Now, admittedly, it is like 2:30 a.m. 2:40 a.m. And I might be falling asleep partially, so I might have literally thought I picked something I didn't pick. But I'm pretty damn sure I picked the prison and not Briar Road, but I guess we're here. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison. I know. That's how, Oh. What's the matter? It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garredeb's house. Oh, what the hell are you supposed to be? Okay, I'm way too dead tired to do a funny voice. I'll come up with a funny voice to you when I see you on the stand, probably tomorrow. For now, oh, what? Okay, who dragged your ass out of the Professor Layton games? Yeah, I'll give you guys funny voices tomorrow when you appear in court. But for the time being, you're just gonna you're gonna have to. I think their appearance speaks for themselves. What the hell? The guy on the right literally looks like a Professor Layton character. What the? Excuse me. I'm sorry. It just looks as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see. Why would you tell him that? If I can be of any assistance, I'll be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law.
Fine, I'll be on my way for today, but you mark my words. This ain't over yet.
Oh, what? What? Okay. So the Jester and the Professor Layton character have spoken. I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle, thank you. What's that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so... Okay, what the hell? Can you be more direct, please? You know... Gentleman named Natsume? Oh, so you did know him. Worthy eponymous battle words there could be. Well, ballad, you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? I hate them both. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and Mr. Gentleman are acquaintances at least. I'm sure I'll see you on the stand. Probably tomorrow. You give off culprit vibes, but I guess we'll have to find out later. Seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With so sick a sound that man as large as the garret at our house is certainly full of eccentrics. I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our turn. So we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Hey there, buddy. How you holding up?
Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Locum student Mr. Naruhoda Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched.
You know, he kind of gives off Larry Butts vibes. Now that I'm thinking about it. We are so sorry to have kept you waiting.
Oh, no, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure with the company of such fine compatriots.
Noble, nurturing, never failing, Nipponese. Oh no, let's not get carried away. Van Zeeks. Oh, for God's sake, why are you everywhere?
It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least.
It's you. The miserable, rotten spy. The airlock Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here?
I have no intention of doing anything per se, save observing, of course.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home, to see how our divested friend is faring.
Gloomful room?
How else would you describe it?
At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is a superior option.
Yeah, by the fact that it has a window, I'll take a room that actually has a comfortable bed over this, be it whether it has a window or not.
I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny.
Ah, you out there, you airlock Sholmes. Ugh. I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings. My whole life is bedamned.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean.
There is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words.
What?
Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say, for the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial.
What's that supposed to mean? No, don't move. Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed?
Oh, no. Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I'm just getting carried away, that's all.
Oh, I see.
You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow?
Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey?
The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please, tell me. Summarize it succinctly in 16 salient words.
No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever.
Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly.
Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper, but then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGill did.
What?
I am impressed, Mrs. Sato. You have an eye for detail.
Ah, yes, the detail of a man literally burning up in flames. What a small detail to notice. Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zeeks killed the man himself? Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. Sorry?
The man isn't a mass murderer, he's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes. Why, of course he is.
Of course he is. Then why are you trying to scare me?
It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis.
What on earth do you mean by that?
Van Zieks is a quite exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception.
That's good. Soseki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy.
As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there's both a jury and a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It's an excellent system which was completely thrown out the window at the end of the last case, whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion is somewhat easily manipulated.
Right.
Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage, by any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhand means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail.
But it means a wrong verdict can be passed.
And sadly is from time to time, my dear madam, it is simply the reality of the situation.
And that's alright?
However, those indicted by Lord Van Zieks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed.
Oh my.
Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months they all disappear.
Disappear? But how?
By all manner of misfortunes, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage, perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Or perhaps 2020 finally took them out.
Oh no.
All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo.
I knew it. I'm a dead dodo, done for, doomed. When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garrett's house, I assume? Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain, but I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me and laughing behind my back. I was sure that people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely having been away from your home for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times, most recently to the room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money it appealed to me straight away, and yet you bought up an entire mountain supply of books. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it, but if not, don't mention it in the first place." Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean that the room really is cursed, then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole. My sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I wake feeling as though I've been choked to death. And I'm waking out as people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm brain dead. I'm branded a killer. Thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. I can be that person. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really no one at all? To believe, yes, to believe. Mr. Sholmes?
Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what can I do for you?
It's about the case on the SS Buria, if you recall.
The Buria. That case.
Well, yes. At that time I was a suspect, but you believed in me, and you helped us to investigate.
I did I? Interesting.
What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe me?
I see, yes, you mean... because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room?
Well, if you like, yes.
I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. Oh, well, in that case...
Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little.
I think perhaps you must have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me.
What?
You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in.
What do you mean?
I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not.
Yep, that's how humans work.
If I should like to believe in something, I do. Circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned.
But I could have betrayed your trust.
Aha. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse.
Yeah.
a simple error in judgment that you thought that someone else could have been lying to you about being guilty of a capital punishment or a capital crime. Yeah, what a small error in judgment you've made. Meaning, whether or not one should trust another is the final analysis down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself.
He's right, he's right.
Whether or not I can believe myself. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself.
You were so right, Kazuma.
Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe.
Already?
Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me?
Oh dear, there's never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume? If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you.
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial.
Something crucial?
What to believe in. The defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove it in court.
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. I mean, he has no one else, so there's no reason why he wouldn't.
As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who'll listen to me in my native tongue.
Of course, Mr. Natsume.
It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it.
Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Miss Susato. Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court?
Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant.
The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind, but it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believes in me, and Mr. Shomans believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Soseki-san has no one, he's all alone. It's my job to help him, to fight his corner, tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. To be continued? To be continued. Alright. Well, that was that. Yeah, sorry if I sounded less energetic today than I usually do. God, I'm so tired. My brain is slipping. I'm sorry if I sounded less energetic than usual, but I'm just, it's like almost 3, it's almost 3 a.m. Jesus Christ. Like I said, the 2-hour period of my life prior to the recording this video were just pain and suffering and torture inducing. So, putting on a fake smile would have just been pain, so I just didn't want, I just kind of went on autopilot to try to get through this quickly as possible so I could get this video out on time. And, we'll try again tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be back with, I mean, I imagine that once I just get some sleep in my system, I'll have regained enthusiasm to keep on trucking through this. So, don't take this as me casting any aspersions down on the game itself. It's just that I've had a real crap day, and I just need some sleep, and then I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll be hopefully better than ever, ready to dive back into the thick of things. I'm not casting any aspersions on the case itself. So, there's that, I suppose. Anyway, that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. I hope to catch you all tomorrow for some more of the Great Ace Attorney adventures. Goodbye.